A warm welcome to a short tutorial on REST application using SharePoint Designer workflows. SharePoint Designer is a wonderful tool from Microsoft with which you can create simple workflows and you can do many useful actions like sending emails, and you can schedule the actions for a certain time and also have for loops, and you can work on SharePoint list and libraries, and it is very easy to create. In real world, workflows can be used to automate site creation or do some logic on library items or files or folders. Now, why REST in SharePoint Designer? There are a lot of default actions available which will meet most of your business needs. But some of your business needs may not be met. And in that case, you do not want to hire a development team using Visual Studio to do complex development. Long back, I had come across and I was part of the complex Visual Studio development for workflow, which spanned for 3 months. And finally, because of the UI, the end users did not want the workflow itself. Now, in the later versions of SharePoint, using SharePoint Designer, we have a web service call which can provide a solution where you can write the custom logic outside and consume the web service in your application. Now, since we are looking at the SharePoint REST APIs, we can use the SharePoint REST Web API and then call that in SharePoint from the designer and do various actions. We'll start off by trying to understand how to call a SharePoint REST API and see a simple demo, and slowly you can extend that to various applications based on your business needs. So in this tutorial, you will learn how to call the web service, learn to create the request headers dictionary for the web service, and then finally learn to read the response. We'll take a simple example which will read the title of the web. So for that, the REST URL is api/web/title. So we get the URL, and the headers we have to pass accept and content type with values application slash JSON slash and followed by OData equal to WebBoss, and we have to read the response finally. While reading the response, you have the response displayed as a D variable, a D JSON variable. Within the D, you have title followed by the site title. So in case you want to read that, you can use the dictionary variable. So you use D slash the particular item. In this case, it is title. So let's get started by using the call HTTP web service and try to read the site title and display the result and show that using the log to workflow history list. So in this demo, we'll get the site title details and then finally show the results in log to workflow history list, or in real world, you usually use that to send an email. Let's look at the result from the URL itself. So I have a site and I just type _API/web/title and I just look at the result. It displays the site title and it has the properties of D:title. Now we'll go ahead and do the same from SharePoint Designer. So we launch the SharePoint Designer, look at the list. So we'll just launch the list workflow 1. Here I create a new list workflow and give it a name, get site title. So while the workflow launches, so first so any workflow you should actually start by the workflow variables. So in this example, let's start by building the request headers first. So we'll give the request headers with variable accept and I'll give the value as application slash JSON followed by OData equal to verbose. Similarly, let's add the next content type, application slash JSON OData equal to verbose. So now we have to store that inside the, let's call this a variable called request headers. Now we have created the request headers. Next we'll call the call HTTP web service. Now over here we have to construct the URL. So we can just start off by using the workflow context and use the current site URL followed by slash underscore API slash web slash title. So you need to be a little careful. Sometimes you need to have a slash, sometimes you don't need to have a slash. So in this particular case, we don't need to put a slash. We'll just keep it like this and click OK. And next, we have to make sure that we have all the properties. So select this particular action, select properties and map the request headers to request headers and response content to a new variable called response content. Okay, response content, let's say title, and next we have the response status code and response code. Next we have to log. So whenever you develop a workflow, it's a good habit to log, and mostly you might be sending an email. Let's just log the values. Let's say in this we'll say the URL. Let's try to get the URL as, let's say the URL is workflow context slash, okay, and underscore API slash web slash title, and I'll give the response code. Let's show the response code as workflow variable response code. It shows whether it is successful or not, and response variable response content, we'll put the response content as response content title. Okay, so this will just give the a response. But if we, let's run this first and then we'll try to pass the output using a dictionary variable. Also, you make sure that you just go to the final stage, that is you end the workflow finally. So let's save and publish this again. Now I go to the list and I try to add a new item. Let's say value 1. I just add that. Now once the item is added, the workflow column is set. So sometimes I need to make sure it is automatically triggered. If not, we can start the workflow manually. So let's start it manually for now. Let's hit refresh. Let me look at the workflow status. We'll start this workflow again by selecting this. So I just wait for some time and I see that it has run completed successfully. The URL is displayed correctly, response code is okay, and this is the response content. Now this string, you can get that using the SharePoint dictionary available in SharePoint workflow. So over here, it starts with D. Within that, we have some array of variables. So we have to use D/title. If you have some other variables inside, like name colon 1, we will just call D/name. So in this particular case, we just have one result. So we'll create a dictionary variable which will get the dev value using D/title. So let's go ahead and call, let's assign build dictionary or get item from dictionary. So we'll give the path as D/title, from which value we'll get it from request content title and output that to, we'll call the variable as site title and select OK. And in the log, we'll just say site title is. We'll just get the site title and select OK. We are done. Now we'll publish. So we'll check if the workflow is manually starting or automatically starting. Look at this workflow and we'll select the start workflow automatically when item is created and save and publish. Now I'll go ahead and add another item and save, and let's wait for some time for the workflow to finish. So now you see the output here. Response code is okay, response content and this site title is dev as expected. So as a quick summary, first you get the REST URL ready, then pass the URL in the call HTTP web service request, then read the response in a dictionary variable based on the results, and then finally you log them or send email or do your logic with the data. So hope you enjoy calling more REST APIs from the call HTTP web service action in SharePoint Designer workflow, and hope your automation job is easy without coding itself. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.